we're just talking about how tight things are for that second spot in the English Championship.
What a game, Bournemouth Forest.
And now coming right to a postponed
Tuesday, what time's
game,
that?
2 Eastern, that's going to mean so much.
2 o'clock?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm not going to see it.
You know what you can do? Check out ESPN FC. As always,
of course
I'll be looking back in it. Are you babysitting?
No, I get home in the middle of the afternoon Tuesday.
Okay.
Oh, I'll watch it though.
Okay.
I'd rather watch it live though. And do you know what, I hate watching things that have tape. Because I don't have patience. I just go like that. After about 5 minutes I go, you know what, I'll just go like that.
Don and Chaka are with us. Will they be watching what goes down in the English Championship, seeing if Forest can do it?
I think I'm a younger Stevie because I'm the same. When I've got a game,
Is that bad for me or him? Who's that was for?
when I've got a game that's paused and it's like 25 minutes behind, I'm like, yeah. Just speed it up. Yes, now I'm back and I've just missed 25 minutes.
Shaka's nodding away there. Is that how it goes, Shaka?
Yeah. No, I also get the alerts on my phone. So whenever a goal goes in or something happens, it pops up on my phone. So if you're 25 minutes behind,
turn them off.
It doesn't make any sense. You can't. You just can't.
I know, gone are those days when you're like, don't tell me the scores. No. Social media's seen to that. All right, we'll start with this one. I'll ask you, Stevie. Where does Carlo Ancelotti rank amongst the greatest coaches?
Oh,
the first to win the 5 big European leagues, and potentially he could become the first coach to win 4 Champions Leagues. Is he underrated because he doesn't have a fixed playing style like Klopp or Pep?
But the fact that you don't have a set playing style and you've won that many trophies in different countries, playing different ways, takes a bit of beating, doesn't it? Right?
Also, it's interesting that you hear Klopp and Pep because you're talking about such a specific role in taking charge of a team like Real Madrid, and it just seems to be, once again, the perfect fit for Carlo Ancelotti.
Well, let me put this question a different way. Not is he amongst the greatest coaches? Who's done more? I can't think of anybody off the top of my head right now who's done more.
Who's sucking in the breath and going, "Ooh," to Stevie's answer? Was that you, Don?
Who's actually ahead of him?
It weren't me.
Was it you, Shaka?
I don't think there's anybody
I don't see a thing.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure
he's a
someone
genius,
went,
though.
He's a genius, Don.
He is a genius. I mean, I don't buy that he hasn't got a set playing style. I think why people probably underrate him a little bit, Kay, is because he's not got like an alter ego. He's not like a Jose. You know, he's got the human touch. You know, you listen to what people like Andrea Pirlo say about him and Zlatan say about him. They rank him as one of the very, very best. And he has to be.
Okay, there you go. Don said it himself.
Can I just say, I agree. I don't think Ancelotti is underrated. I think he's different from the likes of Guardiola and his style and Klopp and everything that people say about him, and even going back to Sir Alex Ferguson, given what he did. And for me, Ancelotti just makes things look so easy. It's never ever about Carlo Ancelotti. And I think that's one of the beauties of playing for him. That when things aren't going well, as they weren't for Real Madrid early on in the season, he said, yep, we're defending a little bit too deep. He took responsibility. And then when things are going great, he just backs way out of the limelight and allows the players to enjoy that bright spotlight. And I think as a player, you really do respect that. And as a result, he's got the best out of whatever players he's worked with, wherever he's worked with them, without having to have a redefining style like Guardiola has had.
Don, would it have been any different if he stuck around at Everton for where Everton are this season?
Probably, because he'd have brought better players in when he brought the people like James in. He'd have raised the bar in terms of the standards, and he would have made it simple for everyone. And straight away, we're there when Shaka was saying there about his playing style and how good of a manager he is. Straight away, I was thinking Jose Mourinho, because if Jose Mourinho had won them 5 titles in 5 different leagues, he'd have been bleating about it everywhere. The whole world would have knew that Jose done it. Carlo Ancelotti's like, yeah, it's for players. The players do all the hard work. He puts it on them. But to answer your question, he would have done better than what Frank and Rafa Benitez have done for sure.
Shaka, assuming they can get Lukaku out of the door, do you think Chelsea should go all out for Lewandowski? He'd be a massive upgrade and could score the goals they need for them to close the gap on Liverpool and Man City.
Well, there's two parts to that question, Kay. The first, I don't see happening because I'm not sure how you get Lukaku out the door, in all honesty. And I know there's been a lot of talk about Italy and going back to Inter. And I just don't see how anybody spends the kind of money that it would take, right? But let's assume they can. Let's assume they can somehow put it together and move Lukaku on. Absolutely yes. I think Lewandowski fits wherever he decides to go. And there's a need at Chelsea, clearly. You believe that City, who also have a need, have addressed theirs. It looks Real Madrid doesn't have an immediate need right now. He's been linked with Barca. Chelsea, there's that need. Absolutely. You move heaven and earth to do it. I'm just not sure that moving heaven and earth gets Lukaku out the door. Even that gets Lukaku out the door.
Benzema has had a monster season at 34. Where were the guys at 34? Do you wish you could have played in this era for more longevity? Where were you at 34?
Where was I at 34? I was still at Liverpool. I was still there, but I did leave when I was 34, I believe. There's no question. Playing today, I would have had more longevity because my habits would not have been what they were. So there's no question about the last.
Because you wouldn't have been allowed, or just because you would have reassessed things? I've
always asked this question, right? So football's about a lot of things, but one of the things I honestly believe is that you got to look after your soul as well. It's one thing to not drink beer. You got to make sure you get enough vitamins, and you got to do this, and you got to do that, and don't do this, and don't do that. I'm a firm believer that, you know what? Yes, but you have to have something on the outside that balances everything up. So, would I have been fitter? Yes. Would I have been happier? I don't know. I would have had a bigger bank balance, but would I have actually been happier? I don't think so.
Do you think, Don, that you might have extended it? Where were you at 34? And would a bit of yoga have helped you, and a few vitamins?
I would have tried the lot, Kay. I would have tried anything. I was at West Ham at the time, and I ruptured my ACL, my cruciate, when I was 32, and my contract was up when I was 34. So I was never quite the same as I was getting older, because I didn't have that confidence in not the ACL repair, but the recovery. But I agree a little bit with Stevie. I mean, everything in moderation. I mean, I can remember waking up on a match day at home at Upton Park, and I've done all the right things. I've gone to bed the night before. I've gone to bed at like 9:30 at 10. I've woke up. I've had porridge. I've had fruit. I've gone out in the afternoon, had an absolute stinker. Had one of the worst games I've ever had. Then a week later, literally playing away from home, I'm in a hotel. I'm chatting with my roommate who's sitting in the bed next to me. We're up till 1 o'clock in the morning, chatting. I've had a massive fry-up. I've had the lot. I've woke up in the hotel food. I'm like that, croissants, fry-up, everything. Gone out in the afternoon, had a worldie. And you're like, how does this work? How does it work?
Shaka was talking about that yesterday, that as you started to get older, you think, oh, I ate that this morning. Maybe that's what I need to eat next time. Shaka, where were you at 34?
At 34, I was playing for Portsmouth in, what is now the Championship. But at the same time, that very 2002-2003 season, I left West Ham in 2002, went to Pompey. Pompey was sitting top of the Championship, and West Ham were in a relegation dogfight. So in that season, Pompey got promoted, West Ham got relegated, so we swapped places, which was kind of funny, given that, you know, as I say, I just left West Ham. Harry was the manager at Pompey. He got sacked, so we had a little giggle at that.
You might have a little giggle.
I was the one that went down, Shaka. Cheers.
Yeah, it's not so funny now, is it, Shaka? Not for
Unlucky,
Don.
lad. Unlucky.
I don't know, he's still smiling.
You might be smiling, all of you, when you hear this next question. How would Stevie feel about being tossed up and down like Ancelotti during Real Madrid celebrations?
I wouldn't fancy being him to try to toss me up there. Don't know
Yeah. How would everybody underneath feel is a better question.
What are you trying to say, Shaka?
There may be a lot of staff members as well
How
as
would
players.
everybody underneath Stevie feel? That's a better question.
Have you ever heard the bumps?
No. The bumps is that.
That's what I call the bumps when they throw you. What
Yeah,
do you
we
call
call that the bumps,
That's
Kay,
the
don't
bumps,
we?
isn't it,
You
Tom?
get
Is
the
that
bumps
a
on your
Northeastern
birthday.
thing?
Yeah, it's a
the bumps
northeast
is-
thing. You get the bumps on your birthday.
There's a new dance that is going around.
All right, Snake.
It's the bump
What do
to
you
the
call
bump.
it then when you're throwing someone up in the air?
You just throwing them in the air.
It's the bumps.
It's not
Even
the
our
bumps.
producer's not from the Northeast and she
The
says
bumps
that
is
it's the
either
bumps.
that, or when you were a kid and got the bumps, you got battered in the middle of your back because it was your birthday. Whatever number your birthday was, if you were 10, you got 10 bumps in the back.
Just
So I don't know,
weird
how's that the
Scottish
bumps?
traditions.
How's chucking
It's
somebody
just
in
what
the air?
it's
the
called.
bump?
It's called the bumps.
No, in your house.
In Don's house as well.
Yeah.
And in our
In the
producer's
Northeast
house. Who's not from the Northeast as well.
Northeast, there's a great recommendation. The Northeast.
Oh, aye. All right.
Yeah.
For Shaka. Shaka, do you call it the bumps? Just to, no?
I don't call anything the bumps.
What do you call that when you throw someone, toss them in the air, like the Real Madrid players did today with Ancelotti?
I'm with Stevie. I call it throwing them up in the air.
It's the bumps. It's the bumps.
No, it's not.
It's
For
the bumps.
Shaka, who would you start as Brazil's #1 in the World Cup? Alisson or Edison? P.S. Bring back the goalkeeper rankings, please.
If they're playing tomorrow.
I'll give it some thought. My algorithm is a little stretched right now, Kay. So I'll have to see how that
But use the tree model.
But to your question, I'll play Alisson. I feel he's more solid. He is less prone to the odd mistake. And while Edison is clearly a better pass of the ball out to the back, I feel that's less of an asset in international football in particular.
Don, you missed it yesterday. We got asked if Manchester United would be more likely to win the league if we used Shaka's algorithm or your percentages.
Oh my days.
And it was 50-50.
I'm going to guess neither would work.
Probably not. Bit like Manchester United at the moment.
Yeah.
All right, Stevie, pick the best midfielders for Liverpool. John Barnes, Patrick Berger, Steve McManaman, or Steven Gerrard, Thiago, or Xabi Alonso?
Oh, man.
So I have to pick one of the trios. So I can't pick individuals from all those names.
No, but that would be interesting too. But go on, one of the 2 3s.
Well, the second one. Gerrard, Thiago and Alonso,
Obviously, because Thiago's in there.
clearly. Yeah, Alonso and Gerrard, absolutely. Yeah, well, that's not fair on Maka, because Maka was a wide player, as was Barnsley at his best.
Oh, so are you thinking?
So that's why I'm going for Gerrard, Thiago and Alonso.
All right. Lastly, Kay, start, bench, and drop tonight's panel for babysitting your kids for one day. I could go a few ways with this. Now,
Wow.
I have a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old, both boys. Right. Shaka's definitely had a lot of experience because he's got loads of kids. Stevie is in regular practice because he's often babysitting the grandkids.
Just got back from Philly.
Just got back from Philly, did a fine job
he
of
might
that
lose
too.
one.
All right. As a favour, Don, I'm going to drop you because it's the last thing you need right now. You've got a new baby at
Yes.
home and your little twinnies.
Yeah.
You don't need to
Yeah, I
be
see
looking
what you've
after
done there,
someone
Kay.
else's babies.
Yeah, I see what you've done there. I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, now what do I do?
Depends what Stevie you get, because Stevie could be, for the kid,
I
the
feel
best
it's-
day the kid's
and
ever had in his life. Stevie would give him lollies.
He would.
He would give him pop. He would give him fizzy drinks.
But
The kid would have the time of his life, or Stevie might lose him.
Well, to be fair though, Stevie is too busy with all those grandkids. So I think that Xhaka might be a little bit out of practice with little babies.
Ooh.
So I'm going to put Xhaka in charge of the babies because they're in safe hands. Stevie will be on the bench in case Xhaka decides that this is not for him anymore and he's tired of this. And Don, I'm giving you a break. All right?
Thanks, Kay.
Imagine a goalkeeper with safe hands. You think?
That's a
win.
poor selection, Kay. That's a poor selection. I'd drop me all day long.
I knew he'd say that because he'd rather not do it at all.
I've had enough. I've had enough of kids. I've had enough.
Hey, Xhaka, I've got some news for you.
Clearly, Don hasn't.
I've got some news for Xhaka. You got 4 kids, right? Not 5?
5.
You got 5 kids. So all the very best because they're all coming home with their kids themselves. So you better get rested up now.
Stevie. I think being a I think you have a little bit of distance. You have a little bit distance with the grandkids, but my youngest is he'll be 15 soon, but still, it's still a little too close. It's still a little too fresh in my mind.
It's a misconception.
My mum was one of 5, and I'm one of 16 grandchildren just on that side. So good luck, Xhaka.
Here's what the misconception is. I am telling you that the grandkids. Listen, my 2 kids had a great time. But listen, my missus was the strict one. But even with my kids, I was way stricter with my 2 kids growing up than I ever am with the grandkids.
Do you know what? The latest performance has just changed the manager's mind. Stevie is going to be started with my kiddies. And Shaggy, you're on the bench, mate.
I'm telling you.
2 days of me picking Stevie. So there we are. We'll mind the kids first, though, and then we'll go to the Riverside and have beers and Pablo. All right?
As a celebration.
Sounds good to me. Thanks for your questions today. Thanks for being with us on the latest edition of Extra Time. We'll be back tomorrow to do it all over again, so make sure you join us. Always remember, ESPN FC is available 7 days a week.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.